Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news here on Mordecai Morisa Live. I'll go on and show you right away. Dr. Sabidet has been arrested. She confirmed on her X platform. You can go on and watch here. This is her X platform, and she wrote here and said, my house is under siege by police and army. That is Dr. Sabidet. And the Uganda Police Force has actually confirmed. They wrote here 20 minutes ago. They said the Uganda Police Force would like to confirm the arrest of Sabidet, Director for Center for Constitutional Governance. She's in police custody. Should be arraigned before court in due course. That is it. It is very, very unfortunate. The Museveni criminal regime continues to weaponize justice system, the security system against Museveni's political opponents and critics. For Sabidet is not an opponent but a critic of the Museveni regime. And I'll show you how she's been vocal in calling out the criminal regime of Museveni here when she was asked about the command of our defense forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. This is what she had to say.
How do you see this year playing out?
Well, it has started badly. It has started badly for us. How did we enter the year? You have the head of the army, the CDF, threatening to behead opposition.
Unbelievable. That really happened. And some of things that really happened, you have the command of our defense forces threatening to cut off a head of a human being. And you have all his obsequious foot soldiers on social media. Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Sometimes I don't even have anything to say about people defending the indefensible.
Indeed, if a court-martial was to do its work, they would by now have sentenced the CDF.
Muhoozi Kainerugaba should be court-martialed. That's what she says. You cannot break her resolve. This is one of the few women we have in Uganda. She doesn't mince words. She doesn't take any nonsense at all. She calls it a spade a spade. She's blunt and honest. She's courageous and patriotic. Listen.
According to his crimes, to undermine the constitution, undermine the UPDF, and undermine his office, or abuse his own office. They should have court-martialed the CDF. But can they?
No, they cannot.
I don't know.
That's why the military...
I don't know. Of course they can't, you know.
Courts were set up to check the conduct of such characters.
Exactly.
Like the CDF on social media. Can the court-martial try the CDF?
No, they're afraid of
No. And that's the dilemma we are in. Can Parliament debate the conduct of the CDF? No. That's the dilemma we are in. There are 2 petitions in court regarding the conduct of the CDF, even before he became a CDF. Can the Chief Justice schedule these court cases to be heard and determined? No. No. Everybody's hiding their hand in the sun, and if they continue doing so, this country will descend into chaos.
It is in total and complete chaos. I had to be the bearer of the bad news. The country is not descending into chaos. The country is in complete and utter chaos. If you have the CDF behaving the way he behaves, it doesn't get worse than that. We are in complete and utter chaos. You cannot have the command of the defense forces threatening to behead a political candidate, threatening to kill a political opponent of his dad, threatening to attack our allies like Kenya, making all these very, very unfortunate, bizarre, sad, embarrassing posts on his social media platform. So we're not headed to complete and utter chaos. We're not descending there. We already arrived. Welcome to hell.
Because it seems to be continuing, he's not relenting in any way. So how
on his hooliganism on social media?
On his hooliganism on social media. Dr. Sarah, she doesn't joke. I mean, Dr. Sarah Bireete, Great Namuga, you have Betty Namboze Bachideke, and a few other women, Miriam Matembe. They don't really mince words.
Call it that.
Yeah, because it's out of context. Anything out of context is hooliganism.
So if a CDF, who has power? Because Muhoozi has power. If that is
derived from the constitution.
I love this, please. It is not Muhoozi's power. It is power derived from this book. Muhoozi should be looked at as an institution, not as an individual. Without this, Muhoozi is just a Mordecai Morisa on social media, flapping gums the way I am doing right now. So he has that power because we give him that power. People power. The power he has is our power. It's not Muhoozi's power. We should be beating this drum forever.
Exactly, but he has it. So if he thinks in such a way, and Ugandans, okay, let's look at the opposition. What's next for them?
A head of a family, let me simplify it for the viewers. A head of a family has power over his family and can call his family to order and even manage public relations regarding his family. That's why he's the head of the family. But if a head of a family defecates on a plate where people eat from, will he command respect?
No.
No.
It's what is happening in the army.
She's smart.
The institution of the army is going to the dogs because of that conduct.
Because of Muhoozi, a hooligan.
Yeah.
Can we see
It
change?
has lost its national character,
Exactly.
defined in the constitution. Non-partisan, disciplined, professional, respecting civilian authority.
Thank you.
That-
Ladies and gentlemen, she's the director and founder of Center for Constitutional Democracy in Uganda. Amazing, amazing woman. Amazing, incredible woman. Okay, I'll show you when she was given a speech 2 weeks ago. She was invited at the Radical New Bar, and they were discussing, I think, events in 2025, and she gave a wonderful speech. You can go on and watch it. We made a commentary about the same. I'll show you here, but listen.
And done. The elephant in the room is the role, the conflict regarding the role of the army and the role of police in going about their work, and of course the civil-military relations in the country.
Allow me to do this, please, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to invite you to subscribe to my feed, Mordecai Morisa Live on YouTube channel, while we continue to advance the voices of change in Uganda, the voices of struggle ecosystem. So, as you know, living in a country where the media is by and large censored almost 100%, independent media like this one is one that I won't have to go through filters of anybody to say what I want to say. So, I welcome you to subscribe to this feed.
Article 209 B is very clear. Article 209 is about the functions of the army. It states very clearly that the army can engage or act or collaborate with other civilian agencies in situations of disaster and emergency. When you go to Article 212 D, it says that the police can work and collaborate with other civilian agencies in doing their work. Is the army a civilian agency?
No.
No. Does the Constitution therefore guide in what circumstances the army can engage in civilian duties, disaster, and emergency?
Yeah. For example, they just broke the law. Her home was placed under siege by the police and the military, the army. The army is not supposed to be doing that.
Continuously, the police in this country have made it a habit to hide behind the Constitution in surrendering their duties to the army and surrendering civilians for the slaughter of the army. The army, which is largely partisan, unfortunately, treats opposition, treats media, treats human rights defenders as enemies of the state. And then you have the police in abuse of the Constitution, hiding behind these two articles. I want to invite the Law Society to help us resolve this controversy. Under what circumstances should we be seeing the army on our streets? And if the radical new bar cannot help resolve this controversy, which is at the heart of rule of law matters in this country, then there will be no radicalness.
That's a pretty damning indictment to the radical Nuba. I love it. You know, it's like if you're invited to speak to the clergy, religious leaders, and you're like, okay, if you guys won't stand for the vulnerable, yet all the scriptures in the Bible tells you about a man who inspires your religion and your spirituality, Jesus Christ, who talks about how you should care for the downtrodden, for the heartbroken, for the depressed, for the hopeless. But in the face where they're being targeted by their own regime, you decide to keep quiet of what importance is your position as a religious leader. That is called a speech. That's what she was doing. It's like, radical Nuba. Show us how radical you are by confronting the lawlessness our security agencies are engaging in, our military is engaging in. I love this. Please continue.
In this bar that we love so much, then we shall not be back on track until we define how the army interacts with citizens of this country.
Brilliant.
Look at the ugly events in Gulu. I've been telling people, because I come from the cattle keeping region, that there is no cattle owner that can subject his cattle to the whipping of civilians we saw in Gulu.
Ladies and gentlemen, you might be watching me from, I've seen a number of people watching me from Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, Sudan, Sierra Leone, and other countries in Africa. You might not know what she's talking about. Bobby Wine, a presidential candidate in Uganda, was going to campaign, was headed for his campaign rally in Gulu. And you had the military and police and a few other unidentified folks surround him and his bodyguards. They started whipping them with sticks. Up to now, all folks who are involved in that lawlessness, none of them has been held accountable. It really defies logic and reason that the Uganda Police Force would continue to purport itself as the protector of folks who are trying to make sure that law and order are respected in Uganda. It begins with following up on those folks who committed crimes in broad daylight. You have them on camera.
Cows are no longer beaten. But the army using, that stick for keeping cattle, for herding cattle, descends on people, members of the opposition, in broad daylight, beat them on camera, and business goes on as usual. As if we are a normal country.
It's not.
We have been traumatized enough that it's easy to move on. I don't know whether hoping tomorrow will be better or worse.
No, it's not. And I've actually made that comment here. We've been long exposed to dictatorship and lawlessness, that we even make jokes out of things that we shouldn't be making jokes out of. For example, you have folks in Uganda who see me doing this commentary. I'm not committing any law. They say, Mordecai, what type of a drone? What type of folks do you want, the military to send to abduct you? Like, that's against the law. But you want to joke about me losing my life, me being dehumanized, because we have been exposed to lawlessness for so long that, it is okay now. That's why I continue to say that Museveni's continued firm grip on power is wrong. I'm not going to normalize it. I don't care whether he's in power for 60 years. I'll continue saying, no, it is wrong. Museveni went back and tried to engage in revisionist history. Remember, when he came in power in 1980s, he said the problem of Africa are leaders who overstay in power. Now, with his revisionist history, he says, oh, I just meant those who stay in power extra constitutionally. But again, you are the one. But even if Museveni was organizing free and fair elections, there's no way you'd convince me that you want to stay in power for 50 years. Sickening.
But we all forget the things and move on. How can it be? How shall we get back on track? My sister, how shall we be back on track without resolving the controversy of the army, the impunity of the army in this country? Of course, we have other irregularities that have happened. Blocking rallies, I think in 5 districts now.
That
level of impunity that you can close a highway, stop a presidential campaign from going to campaign in a gazetted district.
Presidential candidate.
That you can close a candidate to sleep on the road or spend 5+ hours on the road. During 2021 elections, Electoral Commission was hiding behind COVID, hiding their incompetence behind COVID. But there is no COVID now. I don't know what excuse Justice Byabakama will invent in his incompetence. Of course, we shall not forget his illegal pronouncement that voters cannot stay at a polling station.
Illegal pronouncement, and that was actually complimented by Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who came out and engaged in partisan. I think it's sickening, ladies and gentlemen. It is so, I don't know where to start if you're diagnosing the problem of our politics and the country at large. You have the chairperson of the Electoral Commission giving out illegal orders, and instead of backtracking, then you have Muhoozi, the commander of the defense forces, engaging in giving illegal orders in this probably the same week. It is unbelievable. She has been arrested, ladies and gentlemen. It's very sad. I'll continue following up and trying to see what comes out of what the police is going to come up with. Oh, she's been engaged in money laundering. They usually come up with funny cases. Oh, she's been engaged in money laundering or some rebel activities. They usually come up, oh, she's been she has ammunitions. Oh, we found 3 guns at her house. Like they found some at Bobby Wine's. Up to now, we're waiting for them to hold Bobby Wine accountable for crimes they were charging him. When was it? 2018. They all vanished in ways we can't tell. Sad. We smile, not because all these things are funny, but because we know the opposite of not smiling. It is crying. We don't want to cry. Okay? So I'll be back. Please stick around. My name is Mordecai Murisa. See you. But please, make sure that you keep updating the world about the arrest of Dr. Sabidet. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.